Hey, what's up, guys? Doing a little stretching and decide to have you guys come and join. And hello, good to see you guys. How many of you guys stretch every day? How many of you guys stretch every day? Good to see you guys. Hello. Welcome. Yeah, so I stretch about at least maybe 7-10 times a day stretching. There's a general rule. If the more I work out, the more I need to stretch. But it's not just that. Today I want to share with you about stretching. Because stretching is not just about being flexible. I thought it was back in the day. I want to get more flexible, I want to stretch. But stretching is not about flexibility. That's part of it. Stretching also can help us get rid of stress. If I feel nervous in my body, I stretch. If I'm feeling some anxiety coming out of the blue, I don't know where it came from, but I don't care. I'm gonna get rid of it. I stretch. If I'm feeling pressure in my body, I stretch. If I got gas in my stomach, I stretch. You know? It's like stretching has so many benefits. Oh, just had my hips pop. And I want to share with you guys a few things I've learned about stretching. Number one thing is, first, don't expect to be the same level of flexibility every day. Some days you're feeling flexible, and then you do some activities, and then your legs are super tight, your body's super tight. And what I learned about that is not to judge how flexible we're getting or how unflexible we're becoming. That's a recipe to create more tightness, because all it does is just make us feel bad. Some days we feel good because we're a little more flexible, and then some days we feel bad because we're not as flexible, and so we're just getting this unnecessary drama, So just let that go. So just stretch, and just be okay with however you do it. That also goes for the second thing. Don't prove anything to yourself when you're stretching. Sometimes people get into like a certain position and they want to see if they can get into it again. They want to and this is their way of proving to themselves, let me see if I'm still flexible, if I still got it, And if they do, they feel good about themselves. And if they don't, then they feel like they're getting worse, like they're somehow moving back, or they're declining. Drama. Let that go. Another thing about stretching. Don't force your body when you're stretching. Never force your body. You want to feel comfortable when you're stretching, because you're supposed to be feeling good when you're stretching. But how often do we try to do those things I talked about? We try to match the level of flexibility that we were before. We try to get into a position that we got into before, or we try to progress to where we're forcing ourselves, and then we don't feel really good, even if we're able to get into it, but we don't feel good. And then we start to create this association to stretching on not feeling good. When we think of stretching in our mind, we think, oh man, it's going to be painful. And we're not going to be very motivated to want to do painful things. And so we never force our body. But instead, we learn to just find like a 70% point to what feels good. We start to create that gauge. And we create that gauge by not thinking about this gauge. We create this gauge through feeling. We start to feel the pain level in the body. We start to understand what level of pain am I at this position right now. So let's say one day I do this same pigeon stretch here and I can get my leg out to here and I can come all the way down and the pain level is at a 4. Man, I'm feeling really good. I can probably go a little more. So then I go a little more, put my leg all the way out here and I come all the way down and then now I'm at like a 7. I'm like, okay, that's about good enough. And then next week, I'm at where I'm at today and I try to put my leg out to here and I come down and I'm like a pain level 7, 8 already. It's really intense. I haven't even tried to get my leg out more. So that's how I know that I'm going to leave it where it's at and I'm not going to push myself further because I'm gauging it on the pain level. Not on what I think I should be doing, but just on how I'm presently feeling. We don't want to, when we're training our bodies, when we're stretching, when we're doing things, we don't want to use our mind to think how we should do something. Instead, we want to feel into our body and to realize what is our body experiencing right now at this moment. That's how we want to engage with our body with any type of physical training. If we use our mind to determine what we should do, then we are holding on to a past thing that happened before. But it's not real. It doesn't represent what is actually happening. It's just an idea in our head. And what happens is if we think that we have this idea, but this is a goal. I want to get to this goal. So, which is why I need to use my mind. I can't just accept what's happening by feeling what it is right now. I want to reach this goal in my mind. If we do that, and we try to reach this goal by forcing our body, right? By using our mind to push ourselves versus feeling our body, we overtrain, we get injured, we create painful associations to our practice, to our stretching, to our daily care of our body. And you wonder why people don't feel like moving. They don't feel like doing an exercise. They don't feel like doing it. Why? Why wouldn't you feel like doing something that is good for you? You wouldn't feel like doing it if you feel bad from it. And that's the idea, So imagine when we can create positive, feeling good associations to our practice of stretching, of training our muscles, to meditating. We do our best to remove the struggles. We make it easier so we can feel better. Now, somebody may think, well, how are you going to challenge yourself? How are you going to progress if you make it so easy? Aren't you just going to stay stagnant with your progress? And if you challenge yourself, you will progress. But challenging is different than forcing. When we challenge ourselves, that means the difference between challenging and forcing is basically the pain, the level of pain, the level of discomfort that we feel in our body. We can feel a certain level of discomfort and still feel okay. And right now, my level of discomfort right now is about a 5, which is why I can stay pretty calm and I can talk to you. But if I was to come and get down a little more like this, I'm at about a 7. You can even hear it in my voice. My voice has kind of changed now, right? And so this is like, if I wasn't talking, I was just doing the practice. Like right now, I'm at about a 7, I'd probably push it to about an 8. It's not a very comfortable place, but if I'm focused, I really want to progress in this movement, that would be about the max. But that wasn't the furthest that I can go. I can go further, but I don't want to. And that's the idea, is to learn how to gauge that. And the last thing, which is what I was talking about with stretching, is use stretching as a way to help you feel better emotionally. Anytime when you're not feeling good emotionally, you're frustrated and all this stuff, stretch. Okay. Go and you don't have to do any crazy stretches. Find stretches that you can do right there on the spot. And just go ahead and let go of that tension that was accumulated in your body. Remember that emotion that you feel, it's energy in motion, and right now that energy needs to be released, it needs to move. And so when you stretch right there, you help move that energy, which releases the energy, which releases that tension. You don't want to carry that emotion around. And we all know that when it actually happens, sometimes if we aren't used to stretching, we can't sit there and go, what am I going to, okay, I'm feeling stressed and I remember I need a stretch. What stretch should I do? Where should I do it? How should I do it? And all this stuff. We don't have the mental capacity to figure all that out when we are not doing good. So we practice doing the stretches, we get familiar with the movements, so this way when we need it, we have the tools available to do it right away. We don't need to figure out how to do it. We know how to do it already. We simply just apply the tools. A stretch that I really like to do, I'll show you my go-to stretch. Okay. So the go-to stretch here that I like to do, I do this one all the time. So I come down into a forward fold, and this is whenever I have tightness in my back, tightness in my upper back. I come down first, I grab onto my ankle, come down right here. And then from here, I put my arms behind me. Oh man, it feels good. So front. Open up my chest, open up my shoulders. And then come down, I let my arms hang. And then from here, I pivot. Let's see, I pivot and look over my left shoulder. And I bend my right knee, I straighten out my left knee, and then I go to the other side. I bend my left knee, straighten out my right knee, and look over my right shoulder. And then from here, I come back up, stick out my chest, I put my arms up, do a back bend, go to the right, go to the left, I go back up, and then I come back down. And then the last thing I do, I put my arms across, stretching out the chest, stretching out the shoulders, and the other side. And that's it. So that's one of my really simple go-to. And I like to do that one very often because I can do it anywhere. I don't have to get onto the ground. I don't have to lay down anywhere. And it doesn't take a lot of space. I have a lot of go-to movements that I do. And these go-to movements are ones that I do in the flow practice. And for example, another go-to combination. I'll show you right now. Okay. So let's say if I'm sitting down, I've been sitting down for a little while, my shoulders and my traps are getting a little tight. Some go-to combinations, I start off, I do about 10 to 20 hops. And notice the shoulders, okay? Look, don't do this, okay? Loosen the shoulders. I start to release the tension here in my traps. I'm shaking out the body. I go into some drop down arms. I'm releasing the tension in my hands right now. I'm releasing the tension in my forearms and in my arms. And then also, after that, I release it in my shoulders and my chest. All right, so now I release it directly in my chest. So I was doing the drop down arms, and now I'm stretching out the chest. So I'm doing a lot of push-ups. I do a lot of pike push-ups, handstands, and so I need to release the tension. And so this type of stretching here, this movement not only stretches out the chest, but it also moves the energy around. And then I go into my full twist. This is where you twist, wrap the arms to the side, and go look all the way to over your shoulder. And then you exhale on each side. Oh man, this feels so good. It's so good for your spine, guys. And then now I face forward. And then I tap on my chest and I go into a mid-twist. A mid-twist is where we twist and we're tapping on the chest and the arms, and the shoulders. And also on the back. You see the back here. So I'm tapping on the back. So I'm giving myself a massage. That's what I'm doing. And this is very effortless. Like, I can do this for a long time. It takes very little effort. And because I'm staying very, very loose. And so there's a lot of different pointers of how to do this. You know, most of the time if people were to do that, they would just, you know, they think they're kind of just beating on their chest. So I'm not just beating on my chest, you know. Your arms want to be very loose, okay? You see? Keep your arms really loose. They're just like two slabs of meat, just dangling. Because you want to be able to use the least amount of tension. So this way your arms have the ability to be very loose, while at the same time very tight. Very still, but also very fluid. You see? So then this way you're able to get very, very fluid with your body. You're able to flow with your body. That's why we call it flow training. And so those are the combinations. Like, that's another go-to. And I have a lot. When you repeat the same thing over and over again, you get really, really good at doing it. And these tools are to help you to feel better instantly. Like, whenever you feel stressed, whenever you feel any type of emotion come on, anytime you get angry at something, you want to be able to get rid of it right away. Imagine how your life can be different if you can get rid of it right away. You don't have to prolong it. You don't have to carry it on. You don't have to go ahead and deal with it later on. You don't have to go and drink. You don't have to go and smoke. You don't have to go ahead and do all the stuff. You don't have to create drama. You can just get rid of it. That's the whole idea. And these moves are really, really simple. They're easy to do. And that's what it's really about. Get yourself to feel better right away. Practice the moves. Learn how to do them. And anytime when you feel that tension come on and you feel that emotionally triggered, boom, you get rid of it on the spot. You feel better immediately. You feel more at peace. You feel calm. And then you can just go about the day. And your life will be so different because you have the ability to get yourself to feel better, to get rid of pain. So, but that doesn't happen overnight. Okay, you got to practice this. every day. Every day. Now it becomes second nature. It becomes like brushing your teeth, taking a shower. You don't think about it, you just do it.